All right, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be. I can't sleep. All right, so I want to get to the good stuff first, okay? In the title, I said, how do you get Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for free? How do you get Microsoft Flight Simulator right now, 2020 for free? Or how do you get any of the marketplace items for free? That is with Microsoft reward points. There might be other ways, but that is your best chance. So right now, you know how it is in any gaming community. You know, people get negative about everything, and they're like, "Oh, Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to cost too much." And you've got some people out there making videos that are doing the same thing. Oh, it's going to cost too much. Oh, it's going to be too powerful. Whatever. But the biggest one lately is, oh, it costs too much. First of all, there's several different options that you can get: the standard version and then they have like the aviators version, then they have a collector's version where you can get a bunch of swag, right? Okay, Microsoft points. I had a bunch sitting there. I never thought about them. I got set up with you get a Microsoft account, right? You own a Microsoft machine, you get an account. If you were trying to get into betas or alphas or anything else, chances are, you got your Microsoft account set up, meaning that you're probably passively earning points just by using Bing and searching. If you're like, I only use Google, well, that's your own fault. Okay. So there, I had like 42 or 43,000 points sitting in there, just building up. And I converted those or redeemed them all for gift cards for the Microsoft Store. And then I went in there and purchased Microsoft, the standard edition. I don't need 130 planes. Like these planes here, like the Dreamliner today that I'm going to try to muck about with. Very little experience with it. And, I train, just on a handful and have fun with a few others. So, I'm not really interested in having 130 planes. And if there's something that I really want, I'll get it. So I redeemed all my gift cards for $50 off and paid $20. Now I've already run into people in the forums. They're like, man, I totally forgot about those. I'm sitting on a ton of them. I'm going to get the collector's item with all the free swag for free. Okay. You can also redeem them again if you're going to. If not getting the simulator, you can turn around, just redeem for Microsoft gift cards for the store, and that puts credits into your account. And in the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace, you can then go into the marketplace to buy planes or objects or scenery or whatever else your heart desires, and apply those discounts to whatever you're purchasing. Now, if you're really, like a Boy Scout, be prepared. A pilot, be prepared. At some point in the future, they might do it again. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2028. Right? You may not like Microsoft Bing, and you might not like using Edge, but hey, get those points. And then you can go to your rewards dashboard every single day, do a poll, which takes a minute. There's 10 points. You can earn like 200 points a day. And sometimes they just throw free points at you. They're like, would you like 1,200 points free today? Yeah, okay. But you got to check in. If you aren't checking in, you miss those things. Right? So I spent 42,000 points. Every 1,000 is $1. I'm already back up to almost $20. Over 19,000 points. Okay, so if you're one of those folks that are, hey, you know what? I'm not interested in pre-purchasing. I don't ever do that. That's just the way I am. I get it. Good news is you haven't purchased yet. And you have a chance to just, hey, man, get in there, or madam, get in there and grind the heck out of the points. Okay. Yeah. So tell everybody, when you hear somebody getting negative, like, oh, it costs too much. Come on. Everybody's got to do business. Everybody's got to eat. They're not EA. think about that. Think about how different, if you know EA, think about how different Microsoft is from EA, right? They gave us a free, like world update every month or something every month for free. We got all the DLCs like the Top Gun Maverick stuff, the Dune, Ornithopter, the Dune stuff, all free. Okay, if this was EA, every little thing would be, hey, this monthly thing, that's $5. Oh, you want UK? Oh, and with the new high definition scenery, oh, that's $30. And they nickel and dime you for everything. So come on, I mean, let's be realistic about what they have done for us and how they're the greatest. They're the greatest. So I don't feel bad about pre-purchasing. Everybody's like, why did you do it? Because why do you care? But, they've got to report back to their marketing people on how well, the sales are doing. So I'm happy to throw my $20 in. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, type Microsoft Rewards. Go to your Microsoft account and look for your rewards dashboard. Now, again, there's a whole lot of activities you can do every single day. Quizzes, puzzles. Hey, do a search for, they're like, hey, do a search for 10 points. You want to search a recipe, search some song lyrics. They provide you all these cool things to do. If you're into trivia, they're like, hey, answer 3 questions, get 30 points. Some of the I think they're called like warp speed quizzes. Some of those are just bugged. They don't even work. But you click on it and you get 30 points. Go to the next warp speed quiz, click on it, it's bugged, but they give you 30 points. That's how fast you can get points. A gentleman told me when I was learning, and I'm not saying I knew about this. I've known about this all along. I didn't. And then somebody tells me, hey, you know what? That's right. I've been doing it for years. That's how I pay for my Xbox subscription. I paid my initial subscription and I've never paid since. I make sure that I go out and get, do my dailies and da-da-da-da-da. And yeah. So a lot of people do know about it and they are taking full advantage of it. And so should you, my friends. And let all your friends know. Okay. Now, the Boeing Dreamliner. I've been flying the heck out of the A320 because I'm familiar with it. And I've been trying to learn it more and more and more and more. Now, I've only flown this one a couple of times. And, but that's what this is all about. So I thought I'd get in there tonight and give it a shot, do the checklist, see if we can set up a flight. We might have to use SkyVector. I don't know. I'm going to try it a couple of ways. I'll try it this way, that way. We'll muck about, see what we can figure out with the master computer. We might have to go back to the main menu and set up a flight plan. I don't know yet. So if you don't want to stick around, you just wanted to tune in to find out how to get 2024 for free by using your points, I understand. Please like and subscribe if you're going to leave. Hey, have a great remainder, a couple hours of your weekend. I'll see you this week. I don't have a schedule, but I'm trying to do some activity every day, so Monday through Friday. And if they say like and subscribe and you know what I'm doing, you'll get a notification. Other than that, if you need a follower, go into my chat room, say hello to me, and I will click on your name and go to your channel and subscribe to you. Other than that, hey, take care. Adios. All right. Burger Lull, it's 6:30 a.m., so I'm only here to say hi and all ready to hop off again. That's a gentleman from Germany. Cheers, sir. You have a great day. You have a great day. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. Okay, let's get back into the cockpit. Get our flashlight. Oh, the monster's outside. If you're like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? They call it a chupacabra, the goat sucker, and then there's the 12-foot skeleton. Behind that, there's a skull lantern on the ground and some pumpkins. Jack-o'-lanterns. All right, these are some Halloween decorations kits you can get with your camp out utility. I love it. I'm glad I finally got it. I should have been smart and got it for free, but happy to support. No big deal. Okay, so the camp out utility, it comes with all kinds of items for you when you land. Unfortunately, only people that have the utility can see the items that other people have. And I encourage a Sobo, if somebody were to tune in, or maybe you can encourage a Sobo, maybe you know Jorg personally. Say, Jorg, I was watching Kineas' video the other day, and he said we should work with the guys that created the camp out utility, and we should make all of the objects, it isn't a ton. It's not that big of a deal. Not compared to like adding in every animal in the world. But Kineas suggests that we allow all the objects in the camp out utility to be part of the base game so anybody can see them, whether they have the camp out utility or not. And that way, you know, when they go out with their friend who has it, like today, we were doing a camp out at a lake up in Gunnison, and my buddy Rent-A-Cow couldn't see any of this stuff. He hung out with me though, acted like we were camping, but that's a shame. He doesn't want to get it. He might get it, but I would like for him to still see it, and in 2024 still be able to sit down in a chair and enjoy it. The objects aren't persistent as far as more than 7 days. I mean, you can leave your camp set out and then forget about it, and it will vanish out of the game world after a few days. So, yeah, so I encourage Asobo to, for things like this, allow the content to be part of the base game object so anybody can see them, and then they get excited about it, and they're like, I want to go camping. I need to take a break. It's a great thing to do to decompress. You know, some days, I don't know about you, some days I'm just like, oh, I want to fly, and just fly and burn myself out. And then, you know, there's nothing else for me to do. And this is a really great distraction. It's been a lot of fun. And then they come with tons of pets, tons of dogs. Got your windsocks, firewood. Anyway, look at all these dogs. And look at all these objects. This one's cool, the smoke canister. So when you lay out your camping set, you get a green circle around you, and that tells you got to place the items within the circle. But we know these little monsters are out here. Let me drop this smoke canister right here. It helps you find your campsite if you're out in the woods and stuff. And you can change the color of the smoke. Let's go with creepy green. Should change here in a minute. Or I didn't click it. It didn't go green. I'm reluctant to go green too. I understand. Okay. Where to go? Maybe it's just too dark and it looks black under this light. All right, but again, the smoke is great to help you find your camp if you're out camping. So it's I don't know, like $14, but everything goes on sale all the time. And again, use your reward points too. So wait for a sale, drop some points, spend $1. All right, let me clean these up. So to clean things up, you just delete them, or you can actually if you like the way that they're positioned and you want to save it and deploy them at a different campsite exactly the same, you can do one of these things here where it puts everything into a box and it remembers your layout, and then you can just unbox. But in this case, I just want to remove everything off the stage and they're gone. Okay, back to the Dreamliner. Remember Freddy Krueger, the Dream Warriors? And we were so easily entertained in the 80s. I look back at some of those films now and I'm like, man, this is really garbage. And then our music too. Dream Warriors. Ah, youth. Okay. Hour. Well, I turned the voices down. ATC was driving me mad last night.
Off. L and our elect demand pump selectors. Off. External power. On if available.
So let's contact air traffic control and get our power supply set up. Ground services. What? What? We don't have ground services here? Well, the outrage. All right, so those aren't going on. Let's go back to them. External power on if available. So no, we don't have it. Pre-flight before starting engines.
IRS selectors.
They want those on. Come on now. Work with me. Work with me.
On. Primary flight computers disconnect switch. Guard closed. IFE/pass seats power switch. On. Cabin/utility power switch. On. APU gen switches. On. Generator control switches. On. APU selector.
Start, then on.
Start then on. Windshield wiper selectors. Off. Flight deck door power switch. On. Emergency lights.
Guard closed.
Guard closed. Window heat switches. On. Engine hydraulic pump switches. On. C1 and C2 elect pump selectors. Off. L and our elect demand pump selectors. Off. Seatbelt selector. On. Fuel pumps. Off. Anti-ice.
Auto.
Auto. Navigation lights. On. Logo lights. As required. Recirculation switches. On. PAX switches.
Auto.
Auto. Trim air switches. On. Flight director.
Flight director.
On. Auto throttle.
Arm.
Arm. Autopilot disengage bar. Up. Bank limit selector. Auto. Landing gear. Down. Auto brakes selector.
RTO.
RTO. Parking brake. Set. Speed brake. DN. Flaps. Up. Fuel control switches. Cut off. TCAS/ATC selector. STBY.
Okay.
C1 and C2 elect pump selectors. Auto. L and our elect demand pump selectors. Auto. Fuel pumps. On. Beacon. On. CAS/ATC selector. XPDR. Thrust levers. Idle. Right engine start/ignition switch.
Definitely different.
Start. Right engine fuel control switch. Run. Left engine start.
Repeat procedures.
Repeat procedure. ICAS.
Engine is running. Monitor engine parameters. This is really pretty. It's a really nice plane. Okay, we need to find some controls here. It is awful dark in here still. On landing lights, runway, turn off, left and right.
Engine running.
All right, let's see. Let me just go back to standard view here. And it looks, it doesn't look so dark in here. Oh, this thing's got one of those like tablets. This is neat. But I don't think it's working. Might have to have one of those. Simbrief or something setups. That's too bad. That's really nice. Not that we really need to learn how to use that one tonight. Heaters, it's a little bit warm. A little bit cold. Oh, these don't work. Okay, so basically almost like the MCDU. They call it the CDU. So this is be like the main page of our MCDU in the Airbus. Departure and arrival. Departure. Your stick is in my way. Why'd you put the stick in my way? Key not active. Key not active. Let's look at legs. And let's try KCOS. Ah, it worked. But I don't know if that's going to be arrival. KCOS still in there. This one's mighty different. I don't know that I'll be able to set this up from in here. Just winging it. Whoops. Ready, clear. Clear, clear, clear. Nope. So that's not how you do that. Route. Ah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. How do you get MSFS 2040 for free? One Life, I am happy to tell you. You use your Microsoft reward points. All right. If you have a Microsoft computer, chances are you had to set up your PIN number and set up a Microsoft account. When you set up your Microsoft account, you have what's called Microsoft reward points that accumulate over time when you use Edge and Bing to do searches or other things, which you can find out about in your dashboard on how to earn points. And then they also have daily activities you can do to earn up to 200 or more points a day. So you can accumulate points very quickly. All right. People that have never turned in their points or redeemed their points can convert them into Microsoft Store credit. So I had 42,000 points and I converted it into $50 towards the standard edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Other people in the community are telling me they had so many points saved up that they got the collector's edition for free. So that is how you can get it for free. Your Microsoft reward points. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just, again, go into your Microsoft account. If you don't have one, you'll want to set one up. Also, if you are an Xbox Game Pass or PC subscriber. One gentleman in the community told me he paid for his first month of the Xbox subscription, and he's never paid since. He says he goes out and he does his dailies every day and he accumulates enough to get a gift card every month and pay for his Xbox subscription. So, another reason to thank Microsoft, and another reason to anybody who's being negative about 2024 saying, oh, it costs too much. Well, there's multiple ways to get it. The $69 standard. Then you have like a premium deluxe or an aviator's edition, and then the collector's edition where you get all this extra, swag. So yeah, it can get expensive if you want to get that stuff. Oh, you're quite welcome. I'm glad to have answered that. Oh, you're quite welcome. I hope that you or whoever owns if it's your own personal computer and you have a Microsoft account, I hope you go in there and find out that you've been accumulating a ton of them. Also, you can redeem them for Microsoft Store gift cards, which you can use for Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace. So if you convert it into a gift card for the store, it puts credit in there. And when you go to get something in the Microsoft Marketplace, it'll just deduct the credits. So there's a way to get free stuff or discounts on stuff in the Marketplace as well. Okay. Let's put in Denver. Up in our destination. And I'm sure we probably have to hit execute. Now, I don't have a runway just yet. And I don't know how to set up the arrival just yet. Again, I'm just winging it. Don't expect anything by tuning in here tonight, other than me giving you advice on how to the Microsoft reward thing. I don't know anything or remember anything about this plane, but I couldn't sleep and I wanted to get familiar with some of these other planes. So I'm not doing any tutorials here. I'm just sitting here staring at this thing, trying to become one with it and get a flight going. Let me contact air traffic control, file that, and they'll see if they give us a runway. They don't consider this a flight plan then yet, I don't think, because we should get a instructions. We activate. There we... No? Yes. No. A route request? That's cool. Oh, no SimBrief login. Use settings page to log in. I don't remember my SimBrief account. KCOS 6. They haven't assigned us to run a runway in it. Reserves, index, cruise altitude. Might as well put 12,000, start there. Don't have a cost index. Route. Again, can't request a route. Legs. KCOS. This is what I wonder if you could just build your plan in here. So like if I put BRK. So KCOS to BRK. And then let's say, I don't know. We're going to go to Sky Vector real quick. See what they've got for a route. Sky Vector's free, and it is wonderful. Some of the information not be exactly up to date, but it's fantastic, and it's free. So for flight planning, for maps, world low, world high, for a cool little flight planning tool like this. And then you could, like, if they're going to add this to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, this is cool. I've been begging for this since the start. I'm like, please make it like Sky Vector. So once you create a flight plan, you can drag your ribbon around and drop it where you want. And then you can plan. You can plan it to go to the airport, the nearest VOR, or the nearest waypoint. In this case, let's do Black Forest VOR. It'll shift a little bit right here. Okay. And that's what I plugged in, BRK. All right, let's find a waypoint, or let's do a Victor. So from BRK, we'll do the Victor V611 to Luffs. And we'll click this one to plan to go to the waypoint, Luffs. Okay. Gotta make this a little bit more interesting. Let's make it go to Castle Rock. In this case, we'll just tell it to use a GPS setting. Oh no, ho-hum. Where's ho-hum? That's close enough. Okay. Let's fly this Victor to Parker or whatever's nearby. Where's this one at? Oh, nice. Right there. And then I don't know what runway up. Let's shoot for like 35 right. Let's see if we got any waypoints right here. Good. And then we'll try to get 35. But what we do have here in this box now is BRK, V611, Luffs, Ho-Hum, Nidalee, and Raider. I'm gonna minimize this. I keep this over here. No, move it out of the way. Okay, BRK, V611. See if we can enter a Victor. V611. Oop, it didn't put the V. It doesn't like that. Okay, so we'll skip the Victor. And we'll go to LUFSE. LUFSE. For that. Excellent. Ho-hum. H-O-H-U-M. Ho-hum. Ho-hum. Niddly. N-I-D-L-Y. And then what happens if we need another one? How do you enter another one? How do you go up and down? Next page. Ah, okay. Raider. R-A-Y-D-R. All right. Let's execute it. Now let's look what our route looks like. No. Route. Well, that didn't show anything. Legs. There we go. Does that show up as a flight plan? Right at the moment, I don't see it. This is very different from the Boeing, but we should be able to find the knob that does our range. And zoom out and see if it took our and built our flight plan. Well, look at that. It did. The map is turned sideways though. Let me do the change the map. And op. I see it though. I mean, if I zoom back down, I see all of our points. KCOS, there's Lufts, there's Ho-hum, Niddly, Raider. So it's there. And again, there's got to be, you know, there's commands in here somewhere to orient the map up. Barometer. Da, 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 da. And up. Okay, let's see if we can still now try to set up Denver. Departure arrival. We definitely want, well, we don't need COS 6. I mean, we can do it. That just takes us to the BRK anyway. So we'll go ahead and execute that. And in this case, again, when I go to clearance, they're not giving me a file flight plan. So I'll just go ahead and pick a runway and see if they change it. See if we can get it set up. So let's do 17 left. That's the closest one to where we're at. Got 17 left. All right. Departure and arrival. Legs. ILS 17 left. Arrival. Ah. Let's try 35 right. And the boss. Transition. Execute. Let's see what we get. Okay. Check our ATIS.
Colorado Springs Airport information. India 0500 Zulu. Wind calm.
Oops.
Visibility 10. Sky condition. Ceiling 1,800 feet overcast.
Uh-oh. One life. Kineas, bro, I got bad news. Guess how many points you have? Come on, you're fooling me. Don't pull my leg. Tell me. Let me turn this off. Tell me you've got like 60,000 points sitting in there. One life. He wants to know, he wants me to guess how many points he has. He says, bad news. Come on, don't give me bad news. Please tell me good news. Tell me you've never used it and you've been using Bing for searches and you have like 60,000 points. Oh no, you have 18 points. Okay. Well, I gotta tell you, in the last month, or when I purchased the 2024 the other couple of weeks ago or a week, whatever, not too long ago, and I'm already back up to like 19,000 points. Some days they just throw 1,000 points at you. They're like, here's 1,200 points, but you got to check in every day for those kind of things to happen. Some of the warp speed test or quizzes that they have are bugged, and if you click on them, you just get 30 points. You don't have to do them. The warp speed tests or whatever, you'll see them if you're going to do the activities. Those will give you 30 points. Click, click, done. They'll ask you to like look at the quote of the day or take a poll. 10 points, 10 points, 20 points. So I'm sorry to hear that. The good news is you now know about them and you can do something about it. And you or anybody who else uses that computer, if you're currently got your search engine set to Google, and you may want to, you may sit, but if you don't have a preference, you don't ultimately care if you're using Google or Edge, make sure that your browser is set to Edge and not toggled over to Google. So all your searches, and I use the heck out of Edge and Bing when I'm putting together my weekly shows, and I'm trying to search for places to go, information about where we're going to fly. So I'm constantly using it. And that's part of the reason why I've accumulated so many points. But again, the good news is now you know, and you can earn them quickly. That's a drag, though. Okay, so we did execute that. And it's funny, when I go back to the air traffic control, I still don't have any option to file my flight plan. All right, well, we'll just fly it, I guess. Huh. Why won't it let me file it? The MS points are like a Western version of Chinese social credits. That's funny. Hey, how are you this evening again? Rent-a-Cow, good to see you. Hey, it's free points, man. It's free money. Leverage it for all it's worth. Again, that one guy in the forums is like, I've never had to pay for my Xbox subscription. I make sure that I do enough to get enough points every month to get a gift card. And he's like, over the years, I've never paid for my Xbox account. That's fantastic. So if they're offering you a way to get whatever you want for free, hey, Chinese social credit, score me all you want. I know, right? The slippery slope. But do you have any idea why, after creating a flight plan in the Dreamliner, you cannot then now contact air traffic control and file your flight plan? So I went to departure and arrivals, and I've got it set up at KCOS to KDEN. I've got my arrival set up for ILS 35 with boss transition. My departure is set up for COS 6, but they haven't assigned me a runway, so I just set up 17 left as the runway. I set up all the route points. So here's all the route points. To BRK, Lufsy Ho Hum Nidalee. From Nidalee, we go to Raider, then Boss, Drats, Ditzy, Franz, Dean Drum, Franz, and then runway 35 right. So I've got the whole flight plan in here. There's the whole pattern. Radio nav. 1125. That's for BRK. So we're going to probably need the ILS glide slope for here. Tune in clearance 13445 and hit them up. But here's clearance 13445. But as you see, it does not, as opposed to using the Boeing, which tells us to file our flight plan, this one isn't filing. It does not allowing me to file. Option 2. Yeah, I'm clicking it. And these are my only options. It's not that big of a deal. I think I've just figured out, you know, for the most part, how to enter the information correctly. Still don't know how some of these other buttons work, and I don't know, you know a fraction of this, but I've got it figured out, I think, on how to set everything up, how to enter your route and your legs. But I can't get the route data, I don't think. Let's see, request. We'll try. But you need a sim brief login. Let's do legs. Route data. Maybe you got to commit changes to the flight plan in the MCD. I don't know. You haven't flown the Boeing in like 10 years. I get you. That's why I'm doing it. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I've never really flown the Boeing. I wanted to try something different. Okay. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter. I think I'll watch some people. I'll watch some videos later in the week or this week and learn more about this. I think I got an understanding. I'm not afraid of it to go in here and I think figure it out. Well, what I'll do is I'll just go back to the main menu and set up a flight plan. And I can set it up basically just like the one we made. I am so looking forward to 2024, and I hope there's actually a text option too that we can get in there and just type in things and just change. His mom and dad is there. His mom and dad is at KCOS. Okay, we want Denver. It's going to be a short flight. We'll do ILS 35. And here, we'll just set us up on the runway now since we've started. Wait. 35 right. And low level airways. Okay. So KOS, Stammy, Ho Home, and Kaden. We want 35. And that's the boss transition. Drats, Ditzy, Dory, Dean, Drum, Franz. So that, yeah, boss transition. Okay. And it takes us by Castle Rock. Good enough. SimBrief is very nice, and I have it. I have the basic free account. I haven't got the subscription for the Navigraph stuff. But not enough time with that as well. You know, I haven't done that in a year or more. But I've done it. I've linked the my account in the past to my little tablet, and I've set up the account, and I've imported flight plans. And yeah, SimBrief is really nice. I'll definitely get it all set up when 2024 launches. We'll be flying in style. it's not that important that I have it in night for this flight. Make it a little darker though. A lot of folks flying tonight. This is nice. This is nice. Nice, nice, nice. Do we get a altimeter? What do they have the altimeter on here? There's the barometer. But where does the barometer read out? There's the standard down there, 2992 there. So let's see if that barometer knob changes our barometer. This one. Damn you. Dang you. It's zooming me in when I want to click. It's being silly. There we go. Yep, that does it. 2995. 2992. So that is it. 35, 35. Then altimeter 3015. Come on, stop it. Stop it. There, 3015. Rodolfo Garcia. ¿Cómo está? And Feliz Navidad. Okay, let's try to get this bird up in the air. Where's autopilot? And let's get our... Speed Mach. All right. There's LNAV, VNAV, flight level change, auto throttle. Flight director's on. This is just autopilot disengage. So is that also engage? Maybe not. There's autopilot. Okay, it's in the shadow here. That's autopilot for us. There's the co-pilot autopilot. That's our heading. Okay, altitude. Let's get us up to at least 12. And is this a push or pull thing too? Or it's just when you dial it, it's done. Push. Well, we'll figure it out. It was at this moment that Kineas realized you forgot to subscribe to the people in the chat room. So, firstly, let me go back and go into the chat and scroll back up to One Life. Do I ever play DCS? Yes, sometimes. I don't have it loaded right now. So, One Life's channel here, he's got VR Live. Nice. That looks creepy. Or looks awesome. Ukraine attack propaganda and other military stuff. You've got a lot of stuff. I like it. A lot of military. Yeah, I can tell you like DCS World. All right, let me subscribe to One Life here. And although I can't understand Rodolfo at the moment, doesn't really matter. I don't care. Thanks for coming into the chat. That's all I can say. Let me go to your channel, Rodolfo. Handsome fellow. She's pretty. Muy bonita. And subscribe. $120 knots. 130. All right. Wow, she lifts off so easy. That's beautiful. No wonder they call it the Dreamliner. Nose up, gear up.
KCOS 112
Flaps up.
Colorado Springs departure on 124.0.
I kept.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Going to 124.0 Kinney's 112 tree. Colorado Springs.
Why is it telling me landing gear?
Is at 6,900 feet.
Landing gear's up.
8,000 feet.
Landing gear.
KCOS 112 tree Colorado Springs departure
Autopilot.
0.15 radar contact. Continue to stay me.
And is there an... This doesn't have like an auto throttle area.
Tree climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
Landing gear.
Why is it telling me... It's still telling me landing gear.
112 tree.
All right.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
No, that's down.
Landing gear. Landing
It's weird.
gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Maybe we're too low to the ground. Don't know. Let's try to go to 12. That's going down. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There we go. All right. It says we're climbing. All right, let me try to raise the gear now.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Ah, I can file my IFR clearance now. All right.
Colorado Springs departure Kinney's 112 tree requests destination change to Denver.
Landing.
KCOS 112 tree is cleared to Denver Airport as filed.
It hasn't switched over to nav.
Kinney's 112 tree cleared to Denver Airport is filed.
LNAV and VNAV.
46.
Landing.
KCOS 112 tree, read back correct. Radar contact 9,500 feet.
Landing.
Altimeter tree 0.16, continue to stay me turning and following heading 275.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Continue to stay me turning and following heading 275 Kinney's 112 tree.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Wow, why is it still telling me landing gear? It's freaking out. Flaps are up.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
Climb continuous thrust.
Landing gear.
Okay, LNAV and VNAV aren't obviously it.
Landing gear.
Both autopilots are on.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Oh, you...
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
That's strange.
Landing gear.
Okay.
Landing gear.
We don't need... We're in a flight level change.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Why isn't it taking my
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
course?
landing gear. Landing
Huh.
landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
Auto throttle is armed.
landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Map. Plan.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear.
Uh,
Landing gear. 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 Landing
probably want to bring up the flaps.
landing gear.
Unless it's not responding. Yeah, here's speed brakes. Yeah, sure enough, the damn flaps. Was my button up? My button's reversed. Yeah. Thank you, Captain. Okay, now to try to get this thing to follow our plan. Go to legs. Go to... I'm gonna make it go to Stammy. There's no direct 2 with this.
Contact Denver Center on 125.95. Good day.
125.95 Kinney is 112 tree. Goodbye. Denver Center Kinney is 112 tree is at 14,200 feet, climbing 17,000 feet.
Kinney is 112 tree Denver Center altimeter tree 0.11 radar contact. Continue to Hoham. Kinney is 112 tree descend and maintain 13,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 13,000 feet. Kinney is 112 tree.
So it's instant. As soon as you dial it, it's moving. Sys info com checklist eng. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good at all. Nobody's home. Dave's not here. What the hell is that noise? It's like a horrible telephone. Is it now they're telling us the gear's down? Nope. Gear's up. Hilarious. What a nightmare. Huh. Fly the airplane. Oh, I see. It's our speed. I'm so used to auto throttle with the Boeing, or with the you know, the Airbus. That's 250. Hey, 2 heads are better than 1.
Kinney is 112 tree. You are tree 7 miles south. Descend and maintain 12,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect ILS
210.
right approach via BOSSS transition. Cleared to BOSSS.
Descend and maintain 12,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect ILS runway tree 5 right approach via BOSSS transition. Cleared to boss. Kinney is 112 tree.
Kinney is 112 tree. Contact Denver approach on 120 decimal tree 5. Good day.
Man, we're already at our approach. We just went in a straight line, didn't do any of the points.
Is 112 tree. Goodbye. Denver approach. Kinney is 112 tree is passing 13,000 feet, descending 12,000 feet.
Kinney is 112 tree Denver approach altimeter tree 0.02 radar contact.
Where's the approach? Localizer mode. Nope, that doesn't do it. Flight director. Approach mode. Yeah, almost.
Kinney is 112 tree descend and maintain 9,800 feet.
That puts us in the sweet spot
Descend and
for
maintain
approach.
9,800 feet. Kinney is 112 tree.
9-8. Yeah, so like in other planes, you can, the general aviation stuff, You select what source you're on. And right at the moment, I haven't been able to figure out how to change sources. Map centering, destination, center on, airplane, Ditsy Dory Dean drum fronts,
Kenny is 112 tree descend.
plan.
9,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 9,000 feet. Kenny is 112 tree.
This is wild. This is really cool. Oh, we don't have an ILS, any ILS information. $7,000 feet in the 11015. 11015. Invalid entry. But that's for the VOR. Uh-oh.
Kenny is 112 tree. You are 16 miles south of Denver. Contact tower on one.
I just blew out the landing, the arrival.
Tower on 120.8.
Oh well.
112 tree. Tower Kenny is 112 tree 14 miles south inbound ILS runway tree 5 right approach.
Kenny is 112 tree tower. Altimeter tree 0.04 wind 182 at
So this was kind of a bust.
ILS runway tree 5 right approach.
Gonna need some tutorials for this.
Cleared ILS runway tree 5 right approach. Kenny is 112 tree.
I'm gonna turn off the auto throttle. Landing on. I don't think it's listening to my commands for throttle.
Kenny is 112 tree wind 182 at 18. Clear to land runway tree 5 right.
Clear to land runway tree 5 right. Kenny is
And now
112 tree.
she does not want to come down. She's fighting me. Yeah, I can't bring it down now. She's fighting me. Oh, there we go. This is so steep. Steep and dangerous and stupid. Right?
Landing gear. Landing gear.
I thought the gear was down.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
It's not responding to the throttle, so I can't slow down. Well, this was a bust. Yeah, I'm gonna need more tutorials. There's just no way. You know, there was always a chance things would work out, but well, right at the moment, I have no idea what I'm doing. So, you know, if I knew a little bit, if I would have watched a video beforehand, I would have a better grasp of the situation. Right now, it's just, there's so much going on. I'm trying to figure out how to get the autopilot working. Wasn't paying attention to the flaps. Just too much. So, you know, big F on that one. So there's not much I can do. If you're just tuning in and you want to find out how to get Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for free, it's all down to the reward points. If you have a Microsoft account, if you have a Microsoft operating system, chances are you have your Microsoft account because your PIN number for login, yada, yada, yada. Which means you have access to Microsoft reward points. When those build up, you can redeem them for gift cards for Xbox subscription or Microsoft Store gift cards. So save up enough points, redeem enough points, get a big discount on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, or get it for free. You might have a whole lot of points you're sitting on and you don't even know about it. Oh well, so that's a scratch for the night. No big deal. "41 minutes after the hour, time for a quick little smoke break." And I forgot to bring my coffee out. Would you like, are you up to doing some flying? You want to do some flying? I'm up for anything right now. I tried. I came, I saw, I failed. So now it's on to something else and I'm open to anything. I can't sleep at the moment. I'm wide awake. I'm going to grab my coffee and I'll be right back. Taking requests. Okay, I'm back. If you would like to do any flying, I'm open to it, taking any requests to switch to any of the planes that I have and just do some putzing around. If not, I don't know what to mess with next. I mean, if it's, it doesn't even have to be practice. If I'm going to practice, the one I practice the most, of course, is the 172 Skyhawk, because that's the practice plane. There's the, where's the Beaver that you were flying earlier? There's the de Havilland Beaver, the DHC-2. It is a lovely, lovely plane. There's my Volocopter. The Wright Flyer. Got some jets. Got the F-35B. Well, A, B, and C. But I love the B version because of the VTOL, the vertical takeoff and landing on the B. It's far out. Some old racers. That looks like one of the World War II planes, like the Baa Black Sheep. The Beechcraft Baron is good for multi-engine. I haven't flown that one in a long time. I am familiar with it though. I used to fly it a lot along, well, FSX. FSX. The TBM is very nice. Lots of power. Or the F-14. Cup Crafters. All right, where is the Baron? Flying that one on Friday. Isn't this the one that you like flying? You like the DC, right? The DC-3? I'll fly that. There's the Grumman Goose. That's a lovely plane. That's a multi-engine to adore. There's the Beechcraft. There's the Baron. The Baron. That plane looks like it's smiling. The intake's on the front. That really does. It looks like it's got a face on it. Looks like it is happy. Hey, whoever gave me the like, I really appreciate it. And if you're sitting there and you tuned in because you want to know how to get Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for free, it's the reward points. Redeem your reward points. Microsoft reward points. Redeem them and get a big savings. And if you have enough of them, you can get it for free. Simple as that. Oh, and this one's got propeller controls. This is nice. It has got de-icing technology. That's lovely. Air conditioner. Do. I'm surprised it hasn't got more than the 1,000. Right. The mixture. Okay. So it's auto set. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be doing auto mixture. They've definitely got more than a few of these that fly around the area. Never really noticed that before. Is that their beacon out there? And she's definitely got the power. Love it. You're up. Flaps up. 150 knots. Fast! Fast! Where is the altitude? There it is.
Beechcraft, India, November, leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Colorado Springs Tower, Beechcraft Kilo, India, November, frequency.
11,000. Autopilot, flight level change.
Beechcraft Kilo, India, November, is type Beechcraft B 58.4 miles southeast of Colorado Springs, 8,100 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Beechcraft,
Okay.
Kilo, India, November, Colorado Springs approach. Squawk
A 15 knot wind coming from 215.
Squawk 567.
And we're heading east, so it'll be pushing us.
Beechcraft, India, November, radar contact, 4 miles southeast of Colorado Springs, 8,900 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace, Beechcraft, India, November.
Mr. Beast! Mr. Beast! MRO Beast. Anyway. BEAST. Is here. That's weird. It's... Oh. That's why. Mr. Beast is going to go hang out with his mom and dad down in Colorado Springs tonight. Big Black, Ames, One Crazy Something, and Vandalix. She is pretty too. Very, very pretty. There's 10. Oh, and a little table back here. Can't go back there though. That's weird. Not responding. We are on GPS, not VOR. Let's try it again. See if it'll take. There it goes. I've experienced that before where it doesn't take the first one. And you've got to do it again. If you could have any airplane, you would want one of these. It seems very nice. Very, very nice. And again, lots of power. Try to put it into a cruise. Let's take a good look at some of this stuff. Digital climate control. That's very, very nice. Okay, we're at 11,000 feet, so it'd be nice if I could see like a...
Beechcraft, India, November, you're leaving my airspace radar service. Terminated, squawk 1200.
So there is no... Really not a whole lot of give for here. I mean, you're either...
Frequency change approved.
Full out or you know, for a cruise,
Beechcraft Kilo India November.
are you going to leave it full, or are you,
4 miles north
we don't really want to
Colorado Springs,
feather it.
1,000 feet.
We don't need full RPM.
Following.
Beechcraft Kilo India November, Colorado Springs approach. Squawk 5446.
Squawk 5446. Phineas 2.
Beechcraft India November.
Oh, beach.
Beechcraft India November radar contact 6 miles northeast of
Beechcraft India November.
altimeter 30.15.
3015.
Roger Beechcraft India November.
3015. Outside air temperature 1 degree Celsius. At what temperature, for an outside air temperature, do you consider there's 2 degrees Celsius, where you'd really want to make sure that you have your pitot heat on? Because that seems awful cold for 1 degrees or 2 degrees Celsius, so I'm going to go ahead and switch that on. Oh, excuse me. We don't need our landing lights on. I can't tell if that's, oh, that's taxi. Okay, there. CO4. All right, let's go to ADA&E. I thought that you would want to run pitot heat literally like a heater, right? That's what I thought. I thought pitot heat is keeping the pitot tube warm so that it doesn't freeze. So I must have that entirely wrong, because you'd want to run it unless it's unusually hot. All right. Why not have pitot heat always on? Oh, come on. Don't hit me with a bunch of crap. Most all aircraft have a pitot heat switch, which must be turned on in certain conditions. Seems pitot heat is one of those things you don't want to forget to switch on when it's needed, or worse, not recognize you need it on and take action based on false readings. Pre-checklist, blah, 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 as required. Why not have it on? Is there a downside? Doesn't really give it... Okay. This is just people chatting. We need something more. Flying magazine. When is it okay? It's an pitot heat is an anti-icing device, not a de-icing. So the prudent thing to do is activate it when in flight and icing is a possibility. The activation of pitot heat is predicated on the occurrence of possible icing conditions. When my first cross-country solo, surface dew, flight temperature. blah, 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 blah. The activation of pitot heat is predicated on the occurrence of a possible icing condition. You mentioned the temperature was below freezing at altitude and there were clouds forming which indicate moisture. So the potential for icing existed. Pitot heat, per the pilot's handbook of aeronautical knowledge, is an anti-icing device, not a de-icing. So the prudent thing to do is activate the pitot heat when in flight and there is the potential for icing to happen. Caveat: electrically heated pitot tubes get warm very quickly. But the airflow passing over the pitot tube during flight keeps the electrical element from overheating. On the ground, the airflow over the pitot tube is not sufficient to prevent this. Therefore, the pitot should be turned off after landing. Okay, so the air cooling is keeping it from overheating. As far as ice forming on the airplane, I've seen frost form on the wings where the fuel tanks are. Doesn't matter if it's a high wing or low wing, that fuel is cold and frost can form on the wing in flight. So yeah, we've got moisture in the air. I don't know that we're going to be freezing at this temperature. I know we're entering the season where it can. So we're at 2 degrees Celsius. So let's do an external look. We had some icing going on last night, but there's nothing going on now. But in the coming weeks, I love this time of year and I love flying the real weather. And we're coming into crap weather season where we get to try a bunch of emergency procedure stuff when you're flying something like a Cessna. Because a Cessna has no anti-icing. And chances are, with any training, you're not going to be flying a Cessna in crap weather. But it is so interesting to learn what to do in an emergency situation in a Cessna when the engine freezes. So here in Colorado, it gets so damn cold that not only will you ice, even with pitot heat and everything else, carb heat running, whatever, you can't keep the engine hot enough to not seize. Okay, so icing is possible. And so in an emergency situation, and again, well, we could practice this at any time. We can, and you know, just change the conditions to be cold and fly in a Cessna or some other plane. But I've discovered you have to nosedive. You have to nosedive and hope you have enough altitude to do it. But if you nosedive, you super increase the RPM in a nosedive, and it superheats the engine really fast. It unfreezes your engine just long enough for you to get your crap down to the ground or try to, again, build up some heat, then raise your elevation. If you have to keep going, it allows you to unfreeze the engine and get back up to an altitude to where you can do it again. So you dive super fast as far as you can, climb, dive, but ultimately after your first dive, you just want to get down because your chances of failing are astronomical. But it's something you should try. It's a trip. And I discovered that just because I didn't know any better at the time. Like I said,
November, contact Denver Center on 125.95.
I want to do all my flying here because I figured in the real world, if I ever do it, this is where I'm going to fly.
Beechcraft, India, November.
And so,
Denver Center, Beechcraft, Kilo, India, November, 11,000 feet.
Beechcraft, Kilo, India, November, Denver Center, altimeter, 30.08 radar contact. Continue.
I want to go to Jeffel. So early on, learning how to fly the Cessna around this area, again, wintertime came and I was enjoying the real world weather, and all of a sudden I'm icing and then I started noticing like no power in the engine, and so it was just a dumb accident. I shouldn't have been flying that plane in crap weather. No, Jeffel. Plane is so cush. I love being able to see all the waypoints. It's great. I don't have traffic on. Map options. XRAD. Legend traffic. No traffic. The wing and prop icing is kind of lame though. It just reduces your lift and thrust a bit. Noticeable, but easy to deal with. Yeah. I've definitely experienced that too, where the icing, again, in the Cessna, you have no anti-icing. And so when you ice up, you just come down. You can't, first of all, you can't see. And then again, you come down and then you're going to have all those engine problems on top of it. It's a real nightmare scenario to be in. I would never, ever, ever want to be in it. Never. So yeah, in Colorado, it's not practical in any way unless you have more than one plane or something like this. You just don't. You're not going to fly during the winter or when it's crap out with a plane like that here. It's really not practical to have one, to be completely honest, in my opinion anyway. That you have to have something with some anti-icing stuff. And you're going to need something with a little bit more power if you're going to go west at all. If you're going to fly out here on the plains, not a problem. But if your intentions are going that way at all, as we've been doing recently, going out to all those lakes, as you were pointing out today, you're dealing with the air pressure being so reduced at the higher altitudes up there. It can make, you can be in a bad situation really quick. And I was almost in one today, doing a turn over a lake. Just didn't have the performance and just even to hold a basic climb sometime. The icing of the aircraft, the icing of the windows, absolutely. Where, yeah, you can't see. My father, the reason why he quit flying, and I'm always bragging about men of the 70s, they could just do whatever, hey, I can do this. I'm going to go learn how to fly today and go get a license, and they just do it. So my dad was doing heavy construction out of Wyoming, and he needed a much more efficient way when not hauling construction crap between Colorado and Wyoming. He had to go work on a dam up there at the Glendo Reservoir, which I should do that. Get back to the main menu. So he bought himself a Piper Cherokee and took his lessons, and he got his license, and he even I would fly with my dad frequently, and then he would fly us back and forth to Wyoming, and he would do it himself, back and forth to work between. And when you're a little kid, you just trust your dad. You just absolutely trust your father knows what he's doing, and you always believe that you're going to be okay. So I never had any fear. But he was so busy that he didn't keep going with his instrument flying. And again, he's one of these guys of the 70s, which, sometimes they just do things, how bad can it be? I'll just adjust to whatever comes up kind of thinking. And that's the danger you get into when you're just starting to learn. You learn enough just to be dangerous, as they say. So he was coming back from Wyoming, and he didn't properly flight plan. And he got caught in a low visibility, no visibility situation. And he had to be talked down by air traffic control. I've experienced it in the simulator. We all probably have. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's a nightmare. You don't know up, but if you can't understand and trust your instruments 100% and know what you're doing, see if Glendo's in here. You're in deep shit. And you know, at any second you could die. You could run into a mountain, and between here and there, the mountains are crazy. There's a dam in here somewhere that my dad was working on. But yeah, I remember coming up here with our families. My dad and his best buddy were working on the dam up here, so. Anyway, he got caught in that situation, and he had to be talked down by air traffic control. One, I know that the penalties for screwing up are pretty bad. Whether they took his license, you know, I've never really asked. I never really asked. Maybe I'll ask my mom. Maybe she knows. I'm sure she knows. Where I just never bothered finding out. I just, you know, all of a sudden Dad wasn't flying. Look at the hands there. It's like you're floating. I've never really seen that view where it does the hands like that.
Denver Center Beechcraft Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Beechcraft, be 58 3 miles east of 76 Victor, 6,100 feet. Request flight following.
So that
Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Denver Center. Squawk 5462.
Squawk 5462 Beechcraft X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Beechcraft X-Ray Golf Sierra radar contact 3 miles northeast of 76 Victor, 5,900 feet. Altimeter 30.02.
So that's what caused him to give up flying. And it was when I found out that had happened, and I got into flight simulation, my first thought was well, it took me a long time to just figure out I could do it. But when I figured out, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try to crack down and commit to learning, I was committed to at least try to be instrument rated. Understand my instruments to do bad condition flying, no visibility. You know, they do a test. I've seen them do the test in the real world where you have to wear like a like one of those Jedi helmets or a visor or something. You're not allowed to look out the window. They make you wear something so you can only look at your instruments, and you're only allowed to look at your instruments. Yeah, you're right. So basically no instruments. And then again, no visibility. And if you've got the lights are shining in the clouds, shining in your eyes. And I've flown the route between here and Colorado Springs a few times. And some of the mountains in between here and there, and some of the terrain in between here and there. Holy crap, man. If you don't know where you're at, that alone is terrifying. I'm terrified of flying around the mountains for fear of crashing into one. And that would be flying the route between here and there. It's just fraught with horrible situation. And some of the routes that you have to take, I don't even know that those were visual flight rules legal. Because, you know, you're only supposed to go up so high in a Cessna if you don't have an oxygen system on board and you're not a pressurized aircraft, to take somebody above 12,000 feet in a Cessna, some people, that can be a really bad thing. Any higher than 12,000 feet, I believe you're supposed to be able to provide oxygen into the cabin or have it as an emergency thing. And know that some of these routes going between here and Colorado, they're much higher than that. I have no idea. I knew nothing about flying. I was little. I was in the back. You know, my sister and I were always tucked in the back, wrapped in some blankets because cold. So it was mom up front. So, you know, I knew nothing about flying. Dad, how high are we? You know, you don't think to ask stuff like that. I was freezing my nuts off.
500.
I was talking to Christine the other day about moving to Wyoming. He's a gentleman that I know on Facebook. He just got sick of Colorado, how expensive things are here, and he moved to Wyoming and got himself a little plot and a house, and he's like, my mortgage is cheaper than the rent I was paying in Colorado. So I'm like, Chris, let's go to Wyoming. She's like, hell no, that's Wyoming. I want to live in Wyoming. Honey, some parts of it are quite beautiful. She grew up in Castle Rock. We both kind of did in our teenage years. She grew up there. I grew up there in my teenage years. That's where I met her. And yeah, she's a Colorado gal. I like it all, man. After flying everywhere that we've flown around the world, I mean, sometimes, you know, everything kind of can look the same, but I mean, any place would be fine for me. I don't care. I really like the idea of, you know, getting a plot up in the mountains on some water. That would be the best thing. I really like those survival shows, those homesteading shows, but I don't mind being anywhere, really. I've been looking for a reservoir or, you know, something man-made, and I haven't seen it yet, but I know that this is Glendo, Wyoming, and so it's here somewhere, you know. He did all kinds of stuff up here. He helped work on the town, too. Develop a lot of the groundwork for neighborhoods that were being put in. He got into ultralights later in life, you know, kind of like the midlife crisis years. You know, maybe it was just his itching to keep flying, but my mom just, you know, sometimes, you know, sometimes your wife can kill your dreams.
500.
So overbearing on the and insisting. She was so terrified of them damn ultralights. You know, she just made life hell for him. And, you know, didn't even want him to enjoy flying the ultralight, and, you know, rather mean about it all. And anyway, yeah, she made things hell for him, and so he gave up you know, wanting to fly his ultralight and sold it. But the way I look back at it now, you know, he had the flying bug for sure. Is that a path for some train tracks down there? What is that?
$500.
That looks a little reservoirish. Sorta. Yep, indeed it does. Is probably it. Yep, I would bet you. Let's look up ahead. Over here. No, that was probably it there. Either way, yeah, he was into earth construction work, earth moving, large earth moving. So this all fits the
Stall.
whoops. This all fits the description of where dad built all this, or helped the
Stall.
companies he was with.
500. Stall. Stall.
Easy.
Stall.
Easy. Yep. He's putting me in that view. At a really young age, like 13 years old, we had a big piece of land in Castle Rock. I was already operating heavy equipment at 13. I was driving by the time I was 14, just as a matter of necessity. Again, the 70s and 80s, early 70s, late 70s, early 80s, just a different world even. You know, kids could still ride in the back of trucks and nobody cared. Everybody and their dog in the back of the truck. And, when you lived on a farm or whatever, it's just a matter of necessity that you had to help out. You had to drive if necessary. So yeah, I was driving by the time I was 14 and operating heavy machinery. It was a lot of fun. So by the time it came to get my license, it was like, you've done this before. You betcha. I had to drive dump trucks. Crazy when I think about it now. Because, it makes so many stupid... I don't know what it is. I guess maybe just serious mode. Thank God nothing ever happened. But some of the crap mistakes I've made, I can't believe that... thank God nothing bad happened. Hey, thank you for stopping in. If you stopped in and you were hanging out he said he was going to talk about how to get Microsoft Flight Simulator for free. At the very start of this video, I did. And it's simple. It's just redeem your Microsoft reward points. You have a Microsoft account, chances are you're accumulating Microsoft reward points. So go into your account, go to your dashboard, look at your points, and hopefully you using Bing and doing searches and all this, you've been passively accumulating a lot. And if you've never paid attention to them, maybe you have. Maybe you've accumulated even enough to redeem all of your points for a Microsoft Store gift card to redeem that's more that's worth more than the cost of the simulator and get it for free. So that is how you can get it for free. Or again, just get a big discount. Big discount on it. Time is up. Nearing the midnight hour. It's 25 minutes after the hour, and you know what that means. Need a smoke break. Back in the cockpit. We were just there. We were just there. Another little side story. The gentleman that my dad worked with, his best friend, they both worked on that reservoir right there. My dad was the heavy construction worker, and his best friend was the civil engineer. And so together they were a dynamo team. And Pete, my dad's friend, before working on this project here in Wyoming, he had spent the last, I don't know, almost 10 years in Africa, in different places in Africa, like Malawi. I don't even know where that's at. I just remember the name. But when I was flying down there, what triggered is I was looking at the power lines. And Pete, being the civil engineer, he helped modernize a lot of places in Africa by, again, helping out on other dam projects and electrical grid projects. And then after Colorado, after they had done this Wyoming stuff, then they worked together in Castle Rock and Denver for a long time. They both started getting midlife crisis and wanted something as a change. And so they went down to work in Puerto Rico and revamp all their wastewater system treatment plants on the south side of the island. And that was their last big job together in Puerto Rico. And so my dad and him are best friends, and then his son and I are best friends. And so we flew down to Puerto Rico for the summer to go hang out with our dads and, you know, enjoy Puerto Rico, do some scuba diving or whatever, have a great time. And we had a great time. We're both like 18 years old, 19. So, of course, we get into a lot of, I wouldn't say trouble. That's not in our nature. A lot of interesting adventures. And a lot of bad situations that ended up turning out really, really good. First of all, they see some white kids, these white teenage dudes running around their town. So some guys automatically want to like give the gringos crap. And then everybody realizes that our dads are the ones that are employing the whole island, especially the whole southern half. It's not a big island. Puerto Rico is really small. But yeah, it was our dads that employed everybody. So it was almost like that scene Romancing the Stone where everything's going really crap and then somebody finds out it's Joan Wilder. Joan Wilder? Juanita. It was kind of those situations. You're Pete and Gary's sons? Yeah. Well, hell, let's open the bar. 2 o'clock in the morning. No, really, you don't have to do that. No, we insist. Hector, throw down the keys. Let's open the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning for the Pete and Gary's kids. Do whatever you want. Shoot pool all night. What do you want to drink? The bar's open. Whatever you want. Holy crap, man. Fantastic. Good times. Good times, good times. So, I gave up on the Dreamliner. If you're just tuning in, that turned out to be a bust. I absolutely have to get some more experience and watch some more tutorials on how to use the Dreamliner, because that just was no bueno. And so, thought I'd do a little flying around in the Beechcraft Baron, and then, but I just overall couldn't sleep tonight. Couldn't do it. Just too amped, too wired. Speaking of, where's my coffee? Okay. If anybody's doing anything, if anybody's going to be live streaming or doing anything for the next few hours, please let me know in the chat room. What do you, if you got any new videos or something to do? I'm going to wrap it up here, I think. But I'm still not tired, so I don't really know what to do. I don't want to bore you. But if anybody else is doing any flying or anything else, I'd be happy to go to your channel and hang out in your flight. So I'll give it a minute to see if anybody responds. If not, I'm going to be saying adios. I'm looking over there and I see the towers, and I picked up that Emerald Object Library so I could get all the towers and obstacles, and there's a graphic problem where some of them aren't loading in and they all look pink textured, but I see those 3 towers over there. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, York said they're going to have over 1 million obstacles. They're going to put in all the towers, all the cranes, all the whatever. But they've purchased and have acquired that object database. And so that's going to be great. I've been really missing the towers up on top of Cheyenne Mountain. There's such a fixture here. And so when I don't see them, it's kind of odd. But I've got the Emerald Object Library up, and they just don't look right. It was very much fun flying with you today. I have to figure out what the plan is for tomorrow. I don't have a plan yet. I'm sure there are some other lakes that I want to check out, and I'm sure there are probably some points in Bushtalk Radio that I haven't really been in to check out in Colorado. But I will be doing something tomorrow afternoon. Okay, well, nothing's coming up in the chat. So I'm just going to say good night, and I will catch you folks later. Adios.